What's going on, everybody? It's your boy CoolKobe149, and today we're going to be talking about a little bit of a short review of Budget Cuts 1 and 2. So, what is Budget Cuts? Budget Cuts is a VR game where it's a stealth game where you use knives to kill robots, and you use, sometimes you can use guns if you allow the modifier. And other things to kill robots and to progress through the game. The game has a very interesting story that I'll get into, but this is kind of a short review. So there is spoilers coming up ahead about the game if you are planning to play it, of both 1 and 2, and it will spoil the ending of both. So to begin, the story of Budget Cuts. Budget Cuts starts in the first game, in an office building called Transcorp. Now, Transcorp is a facility run by a person named Alex Pierce, I think is his name. It's not Wynda Pierce, so it's Alex Pierce, yes. So it's Alex Pierce. Now, Alex, I think is his name for his thing. If I'm wrong, I'm going to get roasted in the comics so hard from people like, no, you're wrong! Anyways, so basically, he's the main villain of the whole thing, you can tell. When you start up, you get a call in your office from a girl named Wynda. Now, Wynda sent you this briefcase with a cool teleporting device, and how the teleporting works in the game is quite cool. When you shoot the back button of your remote, I think it's the back button, if it's Vive or Oculus, I'm not too sure. I use Vive, so I know that's what it is. You press the back button, you shoot it, and when you shoot it, a little circle appears up in front of your remote, and you're able to look around the room and see what is going to be in the next room or the next area you'll teleport. So it can help you determine what's going to happen, what is happening in that next section. And it also helps with the later boss fight with, what's his name, you'll know. So, key thing here is, though, that in that game, in that part of the section, that's your main part of movement, is that teleporting device. And this is, I think Budget Cuts 1 came out when VR was kind of newish, and all the games had teleporting movement, so you say, why don't they have locomotion? And just have this in case they want to look around corners. You know, it was really at a time when VR was mostly teleport only, and they didn't really have locomotion, because it kind of sucked then, and nobody really wanted it. Now they have it now, because everyone wants it, because it's much better than teleporting, but it makes some people feel sick, so they still have to keep it. Is it a good version of teleporting? Yes, I love it. I love this version of teleporting. I beat Boneworks recently, because I was going to do a Boneworks review until I didn't want to anymore. I beat Half-Life Alyx. I was going to do a play series on that, but I got too frustrated at the game, and I already beat it, so it wouldn't be anything new. It would just be a walkthrough, kind of, except with a loser like me. But Half-Life Alyx and Boneworks were very similar too, so if I did Half-Life Alyx, I couldn't do Boneworks, and if I did Boneworks, doing Half-Life Alyx would basically be, I didn't want it. But Budget Cuts is a very interesting game, and I enjoy its teleporting system that's in it. So as you progress through the game, you have to fight these robots with knives and other sharp objects. You can use scissors, you can use knives, you can use crystals, they're basically everywhere in the game. You can use all these different knives and crystals, and you can keep finding them everywhere in the game because they get broken if you use them. Knives bend, I think scissors break, I don't know how, because I never used scissors, and the crystals. Now you can add modifiers now in the game to also use, guns. You can use the guns off the enemies, and they'll have infinite ammo, and you can change bullet time, and you can basically do a whole bunch of things. You can do that with both games now, which I definitely do enjoy. So in Budget Cuts 1, as you progress through the game, you meet all these new characters. You have Wynda, you have the boss, you have a basic set of characters that you know, and as you progress through the game, it does get slightly harder, and I mean slightly. As the game progresses, it's pretty much the same difficulty until right at the end, until the final boss, which the ending a lot of people hate, but I'm going to explain why I personally liked the ending of the game. And you may notice that I'm blue, it's because my monitor is all blue, and I don't have a good lighting in here. If I turn around like this and move back a bit, better lighting! And I do sit on the floor because this desk is extremely low. It's meant for VR, so. But yeah, to continue, we're going to go to the end, skip near the end of the game, because the game is pretty much the same thing. You find key cards to get higher access levels to the systems. If you have, like, let's say you have a key card level 6, you can access anything that says key card level 6 and anything below. So your goal is to find all of those higher ones. You want to get higher. Plus, you want to get higher in the building, lower in the building. I'm not too sure which direction. And your goal is to escape the Transcorp. Because what they're doing is taking the humans, who are costly and ineffective, and they're replacing them with robots. And it's all run by, you guessed it, a robot. So, at the end of the game, you get to this final section. Now, this is the end of the game. This is your last section of the game. You're about to meet the big man himself. The guy that you see pictures everywhere and all that. And we already knew that pretty much if you guess the game or play the game, you know it probably won't be an actual person. You think that pretty much the whole game. You sound him, and they hinted it also at the game. So, without even seeing the ending of the game, I knew that ending part of the game wouldn't be like, just meet up with this person, have a boss fight him in a mech. I assumed he was a robot, or maybe he was this giant machine algorithm I had to stop while fighting a bunch of robots at the same time. But no, that's what most people disappointed them. The whole game is a stealth game, in and out. Except you can kill them with knives, and the goal is to be stealthy and go around areas and do these unique puzzles. The end of the game is just a really big stealth mission. And a lot of people were disappointed at that. I wasn't as disappointed. I feel like it kind of threw off the game, and I like when games do that. When they take the traditional part of the game, and they just rip it to shreds. And, like, at the end of the game. Like, the end of the game is 100% unique compared to the rest of it. And in both games, the endings of the games are 100% unique to the whole game. Where the whole game, pretty much, from the beginning to pretty much almost the end, is all pretty much the same thing, but you get to that end part, the last scenes, for Budget Cuts 2, and it's 100% unique. And I enjoy that. But the section with Alex, I think his name with the robot was Alex, or Alid, I don't care, really, was scary, but did I enjoy it? Would I enjoy it more instead of a giant boss fight? I would much rather just a giant boss fight with knives and special unique hit points than what they had at the end. Because the ending was so buggy. I got so many bugs throughout the whole thing. And it basically made it pretty much impossible to play. That door flipping thing in that section where you have to go into the ceiling and change the doors was broken for me. So even though I opened up all the doors and I even tried every single option, the boss glitched himself into a wall, so he couldn't kill me. So I got the key super easy and escaped, but I couldn't get into the next section because every single time I flipped the switches, it wouldn't do anything to any of the doors. One of the doors was jammed shut. And then when I keep replaying and I kept trying to do the intended method, the boss just kept zigzagging everywhere. He kept killing me through structures and not doing like the grab thing. No, it was really weird. I tried to do the newer way. Yeah, it was not good. It was very buggy. If it wasn't buggy and it made sense, it was super clean and thought out, I feel like it would have been a much better ending than it was. But basically, after you beat the boss, you enter the boss's room, which doesn't have a boss, of course, the actual boss, the company of a human, because he's not there. I think he probably died. He's kind of like a figurehead for the humans or the robots. So, and then you flip some books, do a little more switches, and you enter this train. And once you enter the train, Winda says that we need to finish what we started. You go on, you go to Budget Cuts 2. Which immediately starts you off on a train, and does a little small tutorial in case you've never played Budget Cuts before. Budget Cuts 2 is a lot more action-packed compared to Budget Cuts 1. Budget Cuts 1, you could basically don't have to kill enemies for pretty much the whole game. There's someone that you must kill, which is a requirement, but some of them you don't even have to kill if you're stealthy enough or you're able to escape a situation fast enough. Some of them you don't have to kill, and there's a lot more action in the second one that you do have to kill them because they'll kill you if you don't. So, that really made me very happy, that second section of the game. But now, we're going to talk about the story of Budget Cuts 2, and then we're going to go on to my personal opinion as the series as a whole, and would you buy it, or is it a no? So, Budget Cuts 2 basically starts off right after Budget Cuts 1. After Budget Cuts 1, after you beat the boss and you go through this massive section of the game through a train, and it's split up into, I think, more chapters in the first game. I think it's a little longer. It's on sale right now, so if you haven't played it, if you want to try it, I would suggest doing it now. More into my opinion later. Budget Cuts 2, you go through, I'm so tired. So, as you're going through Budget Cuts 2, there's a lot more characters that are involved. There's a lot more bots that are involved. The Roombas actually have a purpose now. Like the Roombas on the floor. They actually have a purpose now. You can pick them up and use them for eye things, and it's pretty cool. But, this is where you get to get the butts. Budget Cuts 2 is a lot more action-packed. As you go through the series and you enter after you exit the train, you get to the Transcorp building where you have to then escape that and get to a higher level to find, I think it's like the core or something like that, a derivative or something like that. I'm not too sure what it's called, but that's where you meet Winda. But then there's the twist with Winda, and I knew this would come. I knew Winda wouldn't be the same that we would see here, and if we did see her IRL, I thought she would be like a robot using a fake voice. But no, it's actually her in a robot body. It's a little weird. It's, if you want to Google, search it up on YouTube, like a playthrough, and then Winda the last chapter. That's what Winda looks like now. So, the ending of Budget Cuts 2, I enjoyed a lot less than Budget Cuts 1. And that was because I just kept dying over and over again, and the ending was not clear. In Budget Cuts 1, I think the ending was a lot more clear what you had to do. There's a key, you saw you needed a key, so you went into the other section, you saw that there was a key on the wall, but there's a guy that you had to lead away to get it. Budget Cuts 2 had two different parts of the ending. And part of the ending 1 is you had to lead enemies away from certain rooms, refill fuses, and select dials to turn up and down powers, and Winda would bring you through each section. I hated that, because I didn't know for half of my playthrough that all I had, if all the fuses blew out, it didn't matter if it did. I just had to refill them after. It wouldn't matter. And I didn't know that you could just, lead them away, and I didn't know that you had, like, the third section of the game, of that part, always had 3 of them shut off, so I just thought it was random, and I was doing something wrong. And so there was, like, really no explanation for pretty much all of it. And then the last part after that is ridiculously difficult. It is a section where instead of soda machines giving you pops, they give you grenades, and you have to throw grenades at those, like, guys that shoot tons of bombs. I just kept dying in that part to the robots. The only way to beat that section I found, without, losing my brain out, I think there's probably an easier way, but all I did is I would grab a whole bunch at the beginning, put it in my inventory, like, and then I would run out there, just keep teleporting, and just keep throwing bombs, and making sure that they don't unplug the cord, and if they did, I wouldn't even try. I would kill more and wait until I'm 100% safe to replug it back in. And I just keep teleporting and chucking bombs, and whenever I needed more, I'd make sure all the machines already had a bunch laid out, so I could just come to them and keep throwing them at the front station if I needed to, or just quickly grab them and put them in my inventory without dying. That ending was a little anticlimactic too. Suddenly, you plug in a cord, and suddenly cord is uploading empathy to the whole system, and then all of them are just suddenly happy, and you exit these hatches and the game ends. So, Budget Cuts 1 had a bad ending because of how buggy it was, in my opinion. Budget Cuts 2 had a bad ending because it was a bad ending. No, it wasn't buggy, there was no issues with it, it was just bad ending, in my opinion. But the whole series as a whole, I love the story. Now we're going to go into both games in general. Would you buy it? Would you not? The story of Budget Cuts is super fun. And I really did enjoy playing Budget Cuts. And even though, if you even know the whole story of Budget Cuts, you'll still play the game and be 100% surprised If you've ever played it and just watching this because you want to know if you want to play it and you're okay with spoilers, I would say play Budget Cuts 1. If you enjoy Budget Cuts 1, you will enjoy Budget Cuts 2 even more. You'll enjoy it more than Budget Cuts 1. I enjoyed Budget Cuts 2 more than 1, but that's because Budget Cuts 2 had a lot more things to do. They had bows and arrows. They had more uses for certain items. They had more characters. The ending was way more unique. And as much as the frustrating as the ending was, and I don't think it was a good ending story-wise, or game-wise, story-wise it was a great ending. I enjoyed the story of the whole series. So, personally, if I was to give a recommendation, my first recommendation is if you've played Budget Cut 1 and you want to know how the story ends and you enjoyed Budget Cut 1, then play Budget Cuts 2. If you have not played Budget Cuts 1 or 2 and you want to see the game, watch a YouTube playthrough of number 1 or 2, and if you see me, if you enjoy it, you will probably enjoy it. If you've played Budget Cuts 2 and wondering if number 1 is worth playing, Budget Cuts 1 is the prequel to Budget Cuts 2, of course. And if you're going to play Budget Cuts 2, I would play number 1 first. Excuse me, I'm so tired. But if you've already played Budget Cuts 2, and you're wondering, is there a use to playing Budget Cuts 1? I say no. If you already understand what happened in Budget Cuts 1, it would help you to play Budget Cuts 2. But if you already played it and you don't really care what happens in the first one, if you don't know if you care, I wouldn't play the first one if you've already played the second one, because you'll go through the first one a little bit confused. It'll complete the story for you, but it wouldn't really be an enjoyable experience, because Budget Cuts 2 is way more unique than number 1. The teleporting's great. I feel like if they created teleporting in other games, I feel like they should have a similar type of teleporting mechanic that's instant, doesn't limit you. In certain games like Rec Room that you play, they limit you on your teleporting, and I think that makes sense, at least, why they do it. They can't just, like, let you teleport instantly from super far distances, because if you do that, and you're the people who are just doing the walking thing, because it's much more smooth and much more like they enjoy it more, are at a disadvantage. But a lot of games limit their teleporting a lot, and I feel like they shouldn't limit it if the game, it won't make it too broken. So, okay, final opinion, the TLDR of this whole thing. Do I recommend buying and purchasing Budget Cuts 1 and 2? 1 and 2. No, not at its full price. However, right now, I'm going to check my Steam to show you the exact prices of Budget Cuts. Budget Cuts right now is $8. It's 75% off for just to buy Budget Cuts 1. And Budget Cuts 2, the bundle for Budget Cuts 1 and 2, is, I think, like 78% off. Unless it's that for me, because I already bought Budget Cuts 2 and I didn't buy 1 because I already owned it. I'm not too sure I can check that out, but basically, Budget Cuts 2. Cuts 2 costs $17 right now, and the whole game is 50% off. And the bundle, I think, is just 50% off as well. Basically, you get a massive discount on the game right now. So if you can get a discount that makes it at a more affordable price than the original price, I think it was like $35. It's not worth $35 playing Budget Cuts 2, and it's not even worth playing both of them for $35. But I think right now you can get it for... The original, just Budget Cuts 2, is $33. Now it's $16. Now the other one's $8. I think it's worth it to buy it at this price. I don't think it was worth it to buy it at its old price, where you had to buy both at its full price. But now, I think it's actually worth playing it. I think now, if you click on Budget Cuts 1, Budget Cuts 1 used to be $33, but that wasn't worth it at all. And now it's only worth $8, while the other one's only worth $12 and $13. And it has good content. So yeah, I would suggest buying both. At a sale price. If you don't buy it at a sale price, I don't feel like it's worth it. It's not long enough to justify its price, and it doesn't have any replay value. So, I was gonna relate back to Half-Life Alyx at one point, talking about, how Half-Life Alyx I was gonna do a playthrough, so if you guys made it to the end of this video, please give a like. I would greatly appreciate it. And if you give a subscribe button, I get to 100 subscribers, I'm going to be doing a Q&A challenge video, which is you ask a question, you give me a challenge, and I either have to answer the question, do the challenge, or do both. So if let's just say you comment something like, eat a spicy pepper, and who is your first girlfriend? Or something like that. And you give both, and I have to either do one or the other, or if I want to, both. And I won't always pick the easiest. Sometimes I'll pick a harder one because I just don't want to answer the question. And also don't make it like stupid questions like, what's your credit card information? Eat a spicy pepper, because then I won't eat a spicy pepper or give you my credit card information. And most of the Q&A section, I may even do both. If you just have like an easy question, I'll answer the question and do the challenge. And like examples of challenges are like, go outside and do this, or do the blah 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 blah, you know, like a challenge, because I want to do a challenge video that comments give me, but also answer questions. So this video gets 100, my channel gets 100 subscribers, that's what I'll do, and if this video gets 5 likes, I will play and finish Half-Life Alyx on my channel. I have to get 5 likes, though. No. Even better. If I get 10 likes, I'll do a whole playthrough, and if I get 5, I'll do a review of Half-Life Alyx. Basically praising the whole game. But I'll do a playthrough if I get 10 likes. So 10 likes on this video, and I'll do a whole playthrough of Half-Life Alyx on stream. Eventually. I'm going on vacation soon, so I don't think if this gets 10 likes immediately, I'll do it immediately. And I don't even think I'll get 10 likes, but it'll be enjoyable if I did. Anyways, guys, thank you for watching, and thank you for enjoying my content. Budget cuts, going back on topic. What to buy or not to buy? Right now? Yeah, buy both. If you're going to buy one, buy both. And after the sale is over? No, don't buy either. They're way too expensive on its own. Like, to just get one. And you need both to enjoy it. So, right now, since they're on sale, get both. Since when they're not on sale, don't get either. Because it's not worth it. Just watch a YouTube playthrough. Anyways, guys, I'll see you later. Peace.